I keep telling y'all, this is not a country. This is a business. This has never been a country. This is a business.
And I don't think the hood is, dysfunctional. I think some of the perspectives and the behaviors that
Right.
the hood has created is dysfunctional. I think celebrating somebody that came out of jail and throwing a party and, oh, you got out of jail versus somebody that went off to college or graduated college. A person that got out of jail would get a bigger celebration than somebody who graduated from college. Somebody who is impregnating the whole community will get celebrated, will be looked at as a damn carnival ride versus somebody who's doing the right thing. You know what I'm saying? Not impregnating everybody that they've dated or whatever. You know what I'm saying? I know dudes who got babies all around the hood. Yo, he's like 15 people that look just like him. And he's looked at, that's a carnival ride. He got 15 kids. Like, chicks is like, something must be popping about him. He got all them girls. That's how the crazy mindset. Somebody having a job, is you got 9 to 5, what's wrong? Nah, dog, I'm hustling. The people that are revered in the hood is where the dysfunction comes in. You know what I mean? Because it's not enough people that are doing it the right way. And they're not, the people that are doing it the right way aren't praised enough and revered enough for other people behind them to be like, I'm gonna do it that way. There's no balance. You know what I mean? It's like you have young kids who are scared to show, like, because I worked in a children's home for a period of time, and I used to watch all these young gifted children hide their gifts because the gang didn't look at that. They would be less than if a dude you know how to draw, or you know how to write poetry, or you was good at math. What's the answer to that? He not gonna answer the question because the do-rags in the back of the class is gonna, oh, you smarty art, nigga. Like, that's crazy that you trying to hide your gifts because you feel like it'll make you less than to the hood. That is terrible.
So
You know,
I agree with that. That's what I was getting at when I said I don't think the hood is dysfunctional. The mindset, like what's prioritized, what's valued, like the interests, you know what I mean, of the people not being something that's gonna like bring them forward. Those are the dysfunctional things. Because I grew up project adjacent, but like I think that's probably why I can understand that folks are a product of their environment. But even being in the quote unquote hood environment doesn't necessarily mean that you are operating in dysfunction. You're operating within your environment. You might be in survival mode. There are some things that you may do um, that other folks won't have to. You know what I mean? Because their environment doesn't require that. But that's exactly what I was saying, like the mindset, the things that are prioritized and valued over things that can grow you as an individual, grow your family. You know what I mean? Those are the things that are dysfunctional in the hood.
last
I'm
last
sorry.
comment,
Oh,
real
go
quick,
ahead.
mistake. Last comment,
Go
and just imagine as a young kid, or let's just say 8 to 12 years old, and you see one person get out of jail and they giving them clothes and money, and then you see another person graduate high school or graduate college, and they're just like, oh, thumbs up. As a young kid, what do you think? Oh, hell no, dog. I'm about to start slinging crack. I want that. I want that parade. I want that block party. You know what I mean? They having block parties for niggas.
I want that validation.
That
And
bodies.
well, that's what I was going to say. That's where my confusion is, because I do believe the hood breeds dysfunction. Your environment, because just because you're in the hood, you can be in a $1 million mansion and still have dysfunction in a $1 million mansion, because is the environment itself. So when y'all are saying that you don't think that the hood is dysfunction, it is. It is very dysfunction because the environment within itself is dysfunction. Now, you do have individuals that are in the hood that like I've always said that in where we grew up, the environment was hood, but inside, I'll say that I'm from the hood, but I'm not of the hood. And the difference was because I was in the environment where my actual living location was in the hood, but what went on inside my house was a total opposite of what was going on outside of my house. So I had a very different environment. So I had to learn how to, navigate two different environments, because what we were taught in our house, if I was to live like that outside of my house, I wouldn't be able to survive, right? So that environment created a level of dysfunction in me in order to survive in that environment. So when we say the hood is not dysfunction, it breeds dysfunction because it reinforces those negative behaviors that y'all are talking about. Those are the things that get reinforced. And so it continually happens, which makes it difficult to make any change within that environment when majority of the people are the same mindset of survival mode, picking on each other, or, well, I'm trying to toughen them up, like, making your kids go back out and fight each other so they can learn to be harder. You know what I'm saying? Not take any mess. Like those kind of things, although in that environment, it seems good. Going back to Lady Margaret's point, it seems good because those are the things that are reinforced for survival in that environment. And so in that environment, we've normalized the dysfunction because it works in that environment. But when you take somebody outside of that environment, those same skills are not necessarily going to work in a different environment where you don't need to utilize that. It's only necessary in that specific environment, which again, it breeds dysfunction. And, and that's not to take anything away from individuals that are in that environment that are trying to do better, right? Or trying or not really trying to engage in that. But living in an environment where you need those skills, it actually begins to teach you how to become a little dysfunctional as well.
Go ahead, Balance. I know you came off the mic first, and then Ruth.
I don't want to argue with anybody on here, but for example, I think single parent homes are very dysfunctional. And I think it's extremely dysfunctional, especially for the children being raised in that environment. Like you don't have the balance of a father and a mother. Something's going to be lacking. Whether you don't have the mother or the father, something's lacking. So, and I mean, in the home with the same rules, and you're learning in that environment every day. And that's why, because so much of the culture didn't have that, that's why so many people are dysfunctional. And then they're trying to go about relationships in a dysfunctional way. And the way they're raising their kids is dysfunctional because it's lacking something. And that's why now they're listening to Charleston White. Like, why? I don't want my kids listening to Charleston White. Like, I don't want it to be like that's the last resort. Oh, let me put on some Charleston White. Like that to me is failure. I don't want that for my family. So I'm just saying certain things, if you have dysfunction, now you're trying to figure it out with a Charleston White video. And it's sad that we're resorting to this, but it's because there's so much dysfunction. That's all. I just wanted to add that in there.
All right, go ahead, Ruth.
I think that once you start listing some hood behaviors, I was like, wait a minute. That's where we got that from. A lot of kids in the suburbs trying to be like kids in the hood, right? So if we could list a lot of like dysfunctional behaviors that we just think is normal, I think that would help to say, you know what, maybe I'll stop doing that because that's not normal. Can y'all go ahead and
hold on. Can we highlight specifically what those kids in the suburban neighborhoods want to become or emulate of kids who live in the hood? What character trait are they lack that they wish that they had?
They want to be tough.
The edge, the style, that stuff. So and to balance this point, yeah, single parent households are dysfunctional because they're lacking, but there are also some very dysfunctional 2-parent households. So it's a matter of, like I said earlier, to answer JR's question, what's dysfunctional is operating in a way that doesn't bear good fruit for what you're trying to accomplish. That's the bottom line. It doesn't bear good for, it doesn't elevate or, you know, give you the desired outcome. And what I said earlier was not that I said the hood, I don't think being, I think I said it was to what Miss Taken said. Of course,
Yeah.
there's dysfunctional aspects of the hood. We know that. But I'm saying like being in a hood, or that's something out of somebody's control. Like I'm pretty sure there's a project in the world somewhere where they've made do and they're working together. And unfortunately, what we see most is, you know, the hood, like what we're speaking about, like the bad behaviors of people that are where the dudes that the OGs feel like they gotta haze the young guys coming up to toughen their skin because maybe ain't no father in their household. So now the little boys that have daddy issues are going out seeking validation from older guys in the community, and the little girls that have daddy issues because maybe there's no father in the household is going out seeking unnecessary attention from guys. And then the little girls that have mommy issues have a hard time taking guidance from women that are elder women. And the little boys that have mommy issues are out here angry and pissed and talking crap about women and being disrespectful to women. So we understand that there are dysfunctional aspects of being hood, but I wasn't saying that it's not all in its entirety dysfunctional. I was just saying that I think sometimes it's, we, even as a people, have been programmed to believe that anything that's too Black is fully dysfunctional. So that's all I was pointing out. It was, I was just trying to make sure that we weren't having like an anti-Black discussion around folks who are placed in situations that are out of their control.